Hello and welcome to the channel. Today is slabbing day, cubing day, processing day. Today we're on the sawmill, and this year, because of circumstances of time of year and where I pulled them out from, we've got an unusual process. So just as a reminder for those that this is your first time, and if it is, welcome. My day is interspersed with dealing with Casper. He has a ball fetish. I used to know a woman like that. So, cubing. So we've been on this job on the other side of the valley, and we've got all the timber in wrong time of year, summer. I mean, nobody goes felling in the summer. There's anyway, this is what we had to do, and as a result of that, where we are, our ground is all sand and gravel and rock because we're in the Arctic, and any soil has been produced over tens of thousands of years by leaves, and that's it. But mostly we're on well, actually right here we're on a glacier bed. Okay, so because of the times of year and the weather conditions and everything we suffer, the easiest way I have found of processing the timber is to cube it. Right, so each year when the timber comes in the winter, not this year, I don't know if this camera's bad or what it is, when the timber comes in the winter, I cube it off and we stack it, and it dries quite happily, no problems at all, because there's no point in processing it if I don't know what I'm processing it for, but we need the lumber, so that's what I do. This year, of course, we failed all the way through the summer, just madness. And this is what we've got as a result of it, which means in autumn I have to now process this. But moreover, during the recovery process, because of the way I have to recover it, I have to drag these, and these get impregnated with sand and grit and gravel. And some are definitely worse than others. So here it's been dragged all the way through. I don't know where you're going to be able to see that. This is all gravel, tiny stones, sand. This is going to destroy every single blade I put through it. We can't do that. So now we use the tractor to pick from the pole. And the way I like to do it is two big ones on the outside, two smaller ones on the inside. We stack 4 across, and then we go up in layers, and it keeps it even and it keeps a good airflow. So we pick it up with the tractor. Now I've set up and I've done one of everything except cut, just to make sure it works. So we pick from the pile over here, we take to the jet wash here, and we have to blast the logs off. Then we bring it up towards the sawmill. This one I've put here because when I cut for the sake of everything I'm doing, plus the sawmill, but you can't always see what's what, and it's easier just to cut it in its length. But this has got a bad end and it's too long, so I think I've overcut it, allowing I can cut 6 meters on this. Right, with more extensions I could cut forever, but 6 meters is my cut. I like somewhere between 5.5 and 6. Anyway, it's got a bad end. This is going to throw the whole tree out when you put it on the sawmill. So I'm going to lop that end off there. So I put down a couple of sleepers on the gravel there, because you can't drop nothing on this floor, because the dog will steal it. No, because it will get impregnated again with worse stuff. So I'm just going to lop that off there. This one, that's been washed. This one's been washed and put straight on the sawmill. So you can see on the end here where I've not washed it, that's bad, Simon. See this? Looks like soil, sand, gravel and grit. So if you think about how we're going to cube these, right, in their largest possible size, and we do this to air dry them, right, and if we don't take the bark off, the trees will blue, they'll stain real bad, and the bugs and the insects get inside, and then they start boring and you lose a lot of timber. Anyway, I haven't washed this end, which is bad, but this was quite impregnated. In fact, I can still see areas where I've not washed it very well. All this is sand. It's just going to kill the blades. We've been through this saw a few times, but this is the Woodland Mills HM130. It doesn't have a pre-cutter, so when you're cutting, when your blade goes through, whatever it is it goes through it. And if it's grit, stone, sand, it's just going to smash the blade, dull the blade. You're going to go through a lot of blades, and these blades, for me, they're expensive, right? So, and while we can sharpen them, we want to cut as many as we can. So the thing that uses up all the old blades more than anything else is skinning. Once we got the skin off and we're into cubes, we can cut hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of metres of board on a single blade without a sharpen. Just, I don't care. Woodland Mills say you've got to sharpen the blade every 2 hours. No, I've gone 10 hours without the blade still cutting as good as it is in softwood. In softwood. This is not applicable to all your other timbers, your maples, your oaks. It isn't. In softwood, you can cut a lot on a cut. So anyway, that's the plan. We pick it up from the pile over there. We take it to the jet wash over there. We bring it down here. Right, we make sure it's round. We put it on the end of the fork tips. We put it onto the saw. We skin 4 sides, and then we stack it on here. And we stack it 4 across. 2 of the larger ones on either outside, smaller ones in the middle, bearers. And then we go up layers like this, and eventually they'll end up over there. And you can see right over there, that's the boards that we cut from the birch in the church. The birch in the church. Nice. Oh, poet, didn't know it. Okay. And in addition to that, the reason we have to stack on the far perimeter is because of the snow. Once the snow starts coming 2-3 weeks from now, it'll still be here in May. And I have to plough the yard. So we can't have anything in the middle of the yard. We can't have anything jutting out, because then the plough hits it and then it all topples over in the middle of it. There's nothing you can do about it. So consideration for where you have your stock during the 7 months of winter is vital. A mistake I can tell you firsthand I made in year 1 and in year 2. Now we're in winter 6. We don't make those mistakes anymore. Well, we're humans, right? We all make mistakes, but we try and reduce it. And thus the tyres around the lamppost, right? This is not to avoid an accident during normal conditions because I or somebody else is a bad driver. This is to protect the electrics and the lamppost when the yard is sheet ice, and there are numerous times through the year where there is inches and inches of total ice. Whilst the tractor and all the cars have studs and chains and things move around. They just move around. You can see the size of my plough there. Not easy in a small yard and small roads and small driveways, I can tell you. Anyhow, so that's the plan. That's what we're going to do, and I'm going to film a bit of everything. I didn't film the setting up because I wanted to make sure that my idea would work and it would be reasonably efficient. And we're going to see how many of those we can skin. Now, at my best, I can do no more than 4 an hour. I can't. I just can't. And we haven't done any skinning, turning these big logs here, since way before my disc removal in my back. So I don't know how we're going to fare with this. We've tried once or twice with the machine. I can do it, but I used to just be able to do it at the bar and roll them over. So we'll see how that works. Anyway, that's the setup. That's the plan. Casper's waiting. As soon as the saw starts, he'll be up with his ball, because then, you know, can I run the sawmill and sort the dog out? Yeah, no problem. Here we go. 29 minutes to do one, so I'm not going to do 4 an hour. I'm going to do 2 an hour at best. They will get easier. That was a big ugly one. Now I haven't cut it back as normal as I would, and you saw there I took a couple of 20mm slices. Well, I'll tell you why. For those of you that don't know, 20mm slices get packed and palleted. Okay, this is from earlier this year. This is this first one off. And then over here. And that's from last year. And this is for ready for building with. Building with, for those of you who don't know. So this was an old tractor shed here, made out of tin. Not dissimilar to that, but I've reclad this. And I wooden framed the 2 sides and then clad it with the waste. This is the 3rd or 4th building in my life I've used waste to clad. I wouldn't want to clad the main building with it, obviously, but for barns, sheds, outbuildings, perfect. Now I've got that pack there, and I've got this, and this old building over here is going to get raised. I can't increase its size because that's what it's got permitted development for, planning for, but I can raise its height. So the intention is to raise its height with a new frame and then reclad it to match that one over there. However, I don't need an awful lot, so I'm not skinnying some of the cubes down as much as I could to gain cladding board. Just what I need, and then I'll strip off the rest of the bark, and this will stop the borer and beetles getting into the wood. And this is fine. It's ready for winterisation now. So ½ hour per log on the big ones. Say that's another 30 minutes. Some of the smaller ones over there are going to be quicker, but there we are. Is it labour intensive? Is it just knocking the hell out of my body? Just like everything else I've ever done, yeah? That's what it is. There is an easier way, but an easier way costs a lot more money. So how much can one man do on a very small budget? There are men out there that will show you how much can be achieved on a much smaller budget. And it's just hard work. So it's a young man's game, really. Right, that's it then. Now I'm off for coffee. Can you believe that one log got to go for coffee? Are we going for coffee? Are we? Would you like coffee? No, you don't want coffee. You see how hairy he is? Yeah. It's your winter coat, isn't it? Winter coat. Birds? Where's the birds? Just as well I didn't see that E word. Right. We'll have a cup of coffee, then we'll get on to this next one. Right, so there's my first four. I've got a gap between them, and other than the extension one, that's ready for the next layer. And we're ready for to wash the next two. But I found a much better example of what I wanted to show you earlier. This is what we don't want to put through the sawmill. Is that snow? Yep. No. It's hard to know whether it's snow. No, I don't think so. I think it's seed. This is what we don't want to put through the sawmill. The gravel and soil and nastiness. So we'll wash these two off. These are my next two on. So that's all I need to do there. My only interest is the grit and the stones and the soil and anything else that's in there. If we go back and revisit one of the previous videos of hauling the logs, firstly we're felling them on the ground, so then I try and fell them on top of other ones. But we had to drag them, and we had to drag them a long way. And of course, while you're dragging them, also the logs turn. So it's not like you get a nice strip of just gravel and stuff in the bark. It spins and rolls. So that's my only interest here. I'm not doing anything else other than just cleaning off the gravel and the grit and the nasty stuff. and then we can go back and revisit it. And we see it's as clean as it can be inside the bark, so that it doesn't constantly wreck my blades every time I run them. And that's all we're doing, is we're just getting rid of the grit, because we felled in the summer, not in winter. Logs felled in the summer, they ain't worth as much as logs felled in the winter, because the sawmills take this into consideration. So there's a number of things to take into consideration when you're cutting, with a view to selling. And it's the time of year they're cut here, and there's so many advantages to cutting in February, March. The trees are empty of water, and everything that you do with the tree by way of felling and then lifting and hauling. And if I had a crane, you know, on a tractor, I wouldn't have these problems. I could just fell it and lift them straight up, and you get away with that. But it's just, you get grit and gravel in them, and they're not worth as much. And obviously, for obvious reasons. Now, in the old days, not that long ago, yeah, and still some sawmills still follow the practice. All the logs were put in a large pond, which was a balancing pond, and they would have been taken out of there and then fed into the sawmills. That does away of all the stuff, the way that they're rolled and the way that they're moved around. It does, the grit and the stones and all the nasty stuff falls out. And here, the trees were felled and put down log flumes and floated down the river, and again they would arrive clean. But when you're doing what we're doing and felling on the side of a mountain in the summer, you've got to do this. Is that enough rabbiting? That's enough rabbiting. Got to get on. Since we've covered the subject so many times, that's a box 10. There's actually an old box behind that, and I can explain that. Anyway, that's the standard Woodland Mills blades. They come in a pack of 10 like that. It's the best way to buy them. How do I sharpen them? Well, when I ordered the sawmill, as well as numerous other extras like extensions and stuff, I also ordered the automatic sharpener, which has a battery charger sat underneath it. Though that one doesn't work anymore. There's the battery charger there. And I have it connected to a battery there. And that's the automatic sharpener. And this is good blades, and this is bad blades. And that's a bad blade. Anyway, so I've just got a new pack. Do we want to talk about worms? My worm farm? Probably not. You got a worm farm in your factory? Yeah, that's because they would all freeze to death if they were outside. So that's my sharpener. I have to keep the camera down, otherwise I might show the surprise. Right, that's that. That's it, end of the day. That's as far as I'm going today. How far did we get? Well, I've got a washed one on the sawmill ready to go. I've got 3 washed ones over here ready to go. And we're 2 layers up. And the wasps, oh man, the wasps driving me nuts. Right, so that's what we have got. And we've got 4 washed and cleaned ready to get going in the morning. This one's questionable, because it's dead. If it's good inside, it's good enough. So that's where we've got to today. I've been waiting on the delivery, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks, and yeah. Do I even want to have a rant about that? You know, they're just more liars, really. Anyhow, the delivery has arrived. It's a delivery for something that I haven't told you about yet. Not a secret, it's just something very exciting. For me, it's really exciting. Anyway, so here's our delivery. Now this is what is known as one of those unexpected and can do without with, but very necessary expenses. I have made everything work one way or another since I've been here, without ever having to buy new suction tube. However, The thing that's very exciting, which is on loan, that requires a lot of suction and it requires a lot of tubes, and this is it. So we're not finishing any earlier than normal, but my plan is to go and start piping this project surprise thing that's going to happen, is happening. So yeah, how do I think we did today? Takes a long time. Yeah, we're further than we were this morning, and that's the main thing. Oh, and then tomorrow or the next day we're going to have to do a video on this. Bad. I'll give you a brief story behind this. When I got this, it was a pile of doo-doo. I mean bad. Would never have gone through another road inspection in its life. Dumped for death, and I whipped it up and welded it all up and spent 2 days welding. Last year, other than the crack light, went straight to his inspection. This year, just when I don't need it, not so good. So we got to dig into this and replace a few things in order to get it to its inspection. So what am I saying? I'm saying that I'm signing off here. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not, because it helps me out. And we're going to go and play with that and start piping. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.